Hi Nikki. Hi Jennifer. Hi Janet. Will this be recorded? Janet, yes it is recorded. The changes that Facebook made in February mean that any Facebook lives are automatically deleted after 30 days. So after the live class tonight, what I tend to do is download the video and then upload it to my YouTube channel, and then even when it gets deleted from Facebook, it will still be available on the YouTube channel. At the moment they've got no plans to delete videos, so hopefully that will navigate the change in the Facebook system. So hopefully that I should get round it. Okay. Hi Kitty. No problem, Janet. I think that's the best way I can explain it, the way Facebook have changed. So tonight we're starting on the new book, which is this one. Let me see if I can angle this up for you. So the front of this is 3D'd up. It's gorgeous papers by Minte, and it's called Mediterranean Heaven. And I just want to sit on that beach and jump in the sea. So the book is actually 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and the pages are 8 by 8. Okay, so I'll just do a quick run through for you. So on your inside cover, there's a photo mat there and a big pocket at the bottom. These are some of the die cut shapes that came with the kit. Then on this page we've got photo mats and again little cutter parts. It opens up like that. You've got a photo mat there that just sticks in, and then in your stacked pocket you've got 3 photo mats. Now what I did was actually, that is 1 sheet of paper that I've trimmed down so that it fits across like that. Okay, turn those over. On the back of that there is a flap at the top, and I've added some more of the die cuts there. That opens up and you've got 2 small pieces there and a larger area for photo mats at the back. Okay, now I've done the photo mats, I think they're 7x7 or just slightly over. So you can put a 7x5 photograph, either portrait or landscape, on there. And in between you've got pull-outs to put more photographs on. I'll put that back in a bit. This one, you've got a photo mat here. That opens up. Again, you've got another flap there with a pocket at the bottom, and that's a 6.5 inch square. So the 6-inch papers from the 6x6 pack just fit nicely on there. And again, you can put a 6x4 photograph on the back, either portrait or landscape. And turn that one over. And this one is a 7x7, and I've done a pull out like that. So you've got a tuck spot there, and you can put your photographs front and back. And there's a belly band there, and that just literally tucks behind there and holds that in place. Again, we've got a flap there, your 2 corner pockets at the front for more photo mats there. So you can get quite a lot of photos in here. Again, there's a pull out at the side. Turn that over even, and you've got that opens up. And again, you've got a stacked pocket here. Oops. So you've got a great big photo mat at the top. And your 6.5 inch photo mat goes in the second one. And then that's a 6x4 photo mat. On this page, it opens out that way. And then on this we have a pocket at the bottom and a different sort of photo mat now. So that opens up, so you can have 2 photos there and 1 on the back, and it just slides in there. Turn that over. Now, so this one, you open your flap, let me just move that across. You open that like that, and then this opens out, and again, so there's lots of places for you to put your photographs on here. Tuck spots at this end here, and again, lots of places for you to put your photos. Now I've actually joined this here just because it wasn't quite long enough, but you can put your photos on there, you can put your photos down there, and then fold that over, and oops, back there's another pocket there with another photo mat and just a tag that you can put your journaling on the back if you like, or another photograph. So that is, it does look quite narrow at the minute, but by the time you've put all your photos in, I think it will actually, because it does hold an awful lot of photographs. There are lots of places to put your photos in there. And if you're going, you know, in my head, I've got the book, I just need hubby to book me the holiday to Santorini. And then I can take the photos and put it in. But you'll then have bits of ephemera, your tickets, anything like that. So that's what we will end up with. These are the chipboard die cuts. And with it being minty, there are also the cutter parts and the ephemera pieces. And the other thing with this collection is it has, as well as some little tags, it also has these little envelopes that you just fold along the score lines to give you, excuse me, I've got hiccups, to give you these little envelopes to put receipts or whatever you want in. So if anybody's got any ideas on how to convince husband to actually book the holiday, that would be great. Thank you very much. So let's get the grey board. So we're starting off with our grey board. So if you're in the UK, A4 grey board is 8¼ inches wide by 11¾ long. Now, because I was, I don't know what you call it, lazy, didn't like, whatever, I've made the covers at 8¼ inches wide. So if I mark this out at 8¼ and at this side at 8¼ . Now if you've got a trimmer with a V blade on and you've got an old blade, what you can do, only if it's an old blade, because it will wreck your blades. And this is an old blade because I haven't been able to get a new one for it recently. You put it at your 8¼ inches, and if you score up and down it a couple of times, it will actually make the break. So I'm going to do both while I'm here. And then once you've got that line, in fact, I actually keep an old blade for doing this. So once you've got your line, oops, fluff, you can pop your blade in, line it up, and then you get, I find you get a neater cut through. And there you go. So I'll just do the second one as well. Now, I've just noticed on the cutting guide, and nobody's actually said this, I've given you, oh yeah, so you've got your two covers at 8¼ by 8¼ , so that's your front and back. Then your spine piece is 8¼ , which is the width of your A4, by 3½. And if I've measured this right, yeah, that is the bit that's left over from your A4 sheet. The other bit you can use for stacking up and layering things. So that just makes quite a good use of your A4 card. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side. I was going to run a poll. I know a lot of people have the construction tape that make books. Do people who don't have the construction tape know how to do it? What I was thinking was I could do it and do it with Tyvek, and then we can show, I'm sure many of you have got the construction tape. So what I'm going to do, it's actually Tyvek. Now obviously because it's A4, it's going to be the right size. So to put your Tyvek onto your A4 card, you can either do lots and lots and lots of little pieces of double-sided tape, or as I do, because you can buy a roll of double-sided sticky tape that you just peel off. Whoops, don't stick it to yourself. Roll out slightly more than you need, then just line your card up against the edge. Then don't bury your craft knife. Get your craft knife, put it up to the edge of your cardstock. Roll that up for next time. And get rid of that. So now I have A4 cardstock with double-sided sticky on the back. So now the trick is to peel off the double-sided tape, which is not that easy. It will either come off in one go, or we may still be here at 9 o'clock tonight trying to get the backing off. Oh. There we go. So I'll leave that like that. Hi Linda, hi David. You've got on this week. Nikki, in all album. Nikki, I love having the full collection, and with what I've got left of any collection, I tend to make scrapbook layouts with it. And if there's anything left from that, I will make cards with it. So I try to make sure there's not a lot left, because I'm a bit, I won't say tight with my crafting, but if we've got paper, we might as well use as much of it as we can. Evening Peggy, evening Linda. Heavy duty guillotine, yeah. I don't think I'm trusted with a heavy duty guillotine. Linda, it's actually a roll of double-sided sticky tape. I'm hoping to try and be able to get the rolls for the shop. I'll be honest, I bought that roll pre-COVID. When we used to have things like craft shows, and it was, I can't even remember where I bought it from, but hopefully I've got a few emails out to people, we may be able to get some, so fingers crossed, because it is so much easier, especially when you're backing your cardstock, and for things like Tyvek. So what I do is peel that back, and then get my Tyvek. Now I line my Tyvek up at that corner. Make sure it's straight, and then push that down in that corner. Get it stuck. Then if you lift it up, as you pull this back and pull it across, and you don't have to pull it, you can literally just put your hand on it and pull like that, and then rub it down with your other hand, and in theory you will get, she says, you should get a completely wrinkle-free piece. which I am astonished because that's worked really well. So you've got your Tyvek on one side and your cardstock on the other. If you're putting lots of things down that are sticky, keep hold of this because you can put it down and rub it on and it won't stick to things. So it is quite useful to keep that. But I've got about 6 of them hanging around somewhere. So if I get the, where am I? So that's my covers and my spine. And obviously it's not going to work that way because that's 8 1/4, as is this. So if I turn that sideways and then get the glue, double-sided sticker. Yeah, Linda, I believe the company do, or they used to do, I'm not sure how long the rolls are, but there's one that's A4 in width, and I believe they are doing a 12 by 12 one, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So hopefully, watch this space and I'll let you know as soon as I hear back from them, if they are still going, and if they are, if it's possible to buy any. So plenty of glue on. And pop that in straight in the middle like that. Okay. And just hold that in place so it doesn't move off. And somebody has moved my pieces. Never tidy up in your craft room, no matter how untidy it is, because you will never be able to find what you're looking for. So my hinge spacers have, I think, grown legs and walks, so I'm going to have to wing it. So because the card is square, it doesn't really matter which way I do it, but plenty of glue on. Now, because this is quite a chunky spine, I'm going to use my ruler, butt it up at the bottom so it's straight, and again and butt it up. And then I'll use my, not that one, ball tool, and just run along the edges just to make that easier to fold over. So you fold that up and roll it over. And then just burnish that in place. Okay, now I'm going to, just because I'm going to put that, I'm going to put a bit of double-sided there and a bit of double-sided, and then glue the rest of it. So put your glue on. Take the backing off your tape. And just fold that over. Give it a good burnish. Then turn it round. Do the same again. Take the tape off. And put your glue on top. And then just fold that up and burnish that down well. Okay, now I'm going to leave that as it is for probably till next week, because I don't want to fold it and it break. What I will just do is get a large ball tool and just rub down your hinges like that, just to give it a bit of flexibility. So it does give a little bit, but I'm going to wait till the glue is fully set. So we'll put that on one side and come back to that next week. So to make your pages, you need 8 sheets of white A4, and you're cutting 4. I'm going to swap for my bigger trimmer. So you're cutting 4 at 8 inches. So if we go to the 8 1/4 inches, oops, and just bring that down to 8 inches. So, oh, excuse me. 8 by 7 7/8, which I always have to do that. So we want 4 of those. And oh, there's that gone. So you want 4 at 8 7/8, and then for your other outer of the pages, you need 12 by 12 cardstock, because you're going to cut at 8 1/2 8 1/2 inches by 9 inches. In fact, I'm going to change that, because if we're having the pockets in the middle, you only need it at 8 inches. So, oops. So 8 inches by 9 inches. And I've reread these instructions and measured it out, and still didn't spot that. So 9 inches by 8. I will update the instructions later. 9 inches by 8. The tiny little bits that you've cut off, bin them, don't need them. The bigger pieces, these will make great pockets, flaps and photo mats. Move that out of the way. So, if we get the whichever scoreboard you've got and a ball tool, 1, 2, 3, 4. So your 4 larger pieces, if you on the 9-inch side score at 0.5, oops, and 8.5 inches. Now if you do that on all 4 pieces of cardstock, and I was talking to somebody during the week, and they were saying that when they score, sometimes their scores are not always even. And what it is, if you have a scoreboard that comes with a scorer like this, over time this bit here, can't see, this end can wear away, so it becomes bigger, which means that when you're scoring, instead of having a nice neat crease, it gets bigger, and then when you fold it, it can make it your creases out a little bit. So I tend to go with a metal embossing tool, just because it's a lot harder to wear away a metal one than it is a plastic one. So again, at 1/2 inch, oops, and at 8.5 inches. And then put your scoreboard away. Okay. So, catch up with all your choices. Yeah, guillotines are great for doing the albums and cutting through harder or thicker materials, but yeah, I tend to stick away for them. Right, so Linda, when I did the spine, I put the cardstock down, double-sided sticky on the cardstock, then put the Tyvek on top of the cardstock, and then glued the Tyvek. So this bit here is the Tyvek underneath, and then as you fold it over, you've got your cardstock. So it's got the strength of the Tyvek, so your cardstock isn't going to crack or split. so it'll give it that bit more strength. Okay, does that answer the question for you? Okay, so get your bone folder out and fold that your pockets over. And the other thing with your embossing tools when you're scoring is don't use one with too fine a point on it. I've got a selection of tools with embossing tools with anything from a humongous ball tool right down to these, which is tiny. Don't know if you can see that. Can't find the camera bit. It's really tiny, and the problem with that is if it's too thin, it can go straight through your card, and actually instead of scoring it, it will make a hole in it. So we've got our page there. Check that way and then just slide your cardstock in. Whoops. There you go. And that will fit just nicely. Oh, glue. And squitch your glue out. Unfortunately, with using white cardstock for the pages, it's not very helpful to show you where I'm gluing because the glue's white. Not a huge amount I can do about that, unfortunately. So again, pop your glue on. You want a decent amount of glue, but not so much that it oozes out. And just burnish that down. Okay. So again, just make your flaps. And fold that over and burnish the creases in. Okay, fold it back, pop your glue on. I think this is why I prefer working with black cardstock, because I can see where I've put glue and if I've got enough on. But the papers just didn't work with the black cardstock. That's two. If you find it's a bit too snug, you can always take your smaller piece and just take a smidge off the side of your piece of card. It doesn't need to be an exact amount. obviously not too much, just a small amount so that it doesn't gape. Okay, pop that over there, and we've got our last page. So plenty of glue on there. Make sure your card is straight. And then fold that over and burnish that down. So there are your 4 pages for your book. I'll just put a lid on the glue, then I don't lose it. Okay. Quick catch up on messages. Yeah, that's fine. So for the front page, so it's the page 1 and it's the front. We're doing 2 doors that go on here that open outwards. So not quite wide enough. So you need to cut 2 at 8 inches by 4 5/8. So again, just because I'm using my small trimmer, mark it off at 8 inches, 4 5/8. That's the side, and just whiz this round and trim it down to the 8 inches. So get your scoreboard, and on this one we're scoring on the 4 5/8 inch side at 4 inches. Oops, it's not very helpful if you can't see that. So there's your 4 inches and 4 1/8. Okay, so you've got 2 score lines like that. So exactly the same on the next one. We're scoring at 4 inches and at 4 1/8. There we go. So we're then going to fold it over on these score lines and burnish them. it's always worth spending that little bit more time just encouraging the second fold. So these doors, for want of a word, have got a small gusset on each side, and that's just because there's a pocket inside and we didn't want that pocket being stuffed and you couldn't, they wouldn't close together. Okay, so just burnish that down again. Okay, so you're going to put one on the left hand side and one on the right hand side, and they should just meet in the middle. So let's get your glue out and put your glue on there. So put one on that side, just line it up and push that down, and then if you open it and burnish it down from the inside as well. Glue on this flap. And again, just line that up. Push that down, open it out and get your bone folder on that and just push that down. So they fold over and meet in the middle like that. Now I've just spotted another typing mistake in that I've put inside flap pockets. The pockets actually go on the outside of the flaps there. So you need to cut two at 5 inches by 3.5 inches. Now if you get your offcuts from earlier, you will have some that are just over your 3.5 inches. So rather than cutting to a new piece of cardstock, we're just going to take these two pieces. So we need two at 5 inches. By 3.5 inches. And again, 5 inches. By 3.5 inches. So again, these little bits, bin them, can't be bothered keeping them anymore. These 3.25 by 4. You could use those for 3x4 photographs, or you can just chuck them in the bin. It's entirely up to you. So get your scoreboard out. Hi Wendy. Oh, doesn't matter. While we're in class, how do you all manage to cover a page? Nikki, what I do when I'm doing a page that has a belly band on, other people may do it differently. So with this one, pull that out. wanted this paper, but I didn't have enough for a full 8 inches across. So I've made the page, put the belly band on, then I stuck the paper on the belly band, and then these pieces, so it was 2 1/4 inches to there, so I think I cut these pieces of paper at 2 1/2 inches. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but if you look under there, it doesn't actually go all the way through. So it's just 2 strips, if you like, but they just go slightly under. The other option is, if you've got a full 8 by 8 piece, is to put plenty of glue on the back, slide it in, but don't push it down, and rub it down until it's in the right place. Now, if you're going to do that, I wouldn't use the Sticks to Sticky glue. I would use something like the Collall all-purpose glue for that, because it doesn't stick as quick. So you've got just a little bit of wiggle time, so you can move your pages if you need to, just to get them in place. But that's a good tip if you're a bit short on patterned paper, just to do 2 strips, and then your belly band on the front, and then just slide that underneath like that, if that helps. Oh, I'm intrigued to know, which retreat kit are you working on, Nikki? Linda. With great difficulty. Yeah, Linda, it is all artistic impression, and if anybody says you've done that wrong, my reaction these days is to say, well, show me what you've done, because 9 times out of 10 they can't. So our pockets for the front, at the 5 inch side, you're scoring at 1/2 inch, whoops, and at 4 3/4 inches. Spin that round, and on the 3 1/2 inch side, score at 1/2 inch. Oops. And do that on both pockets. So again, 1/2 inch, 4 1/2 inches, spin it round, and at 1/2 inch. Move your scoreboard out of the way. Then get my scissors. So I've actually got some new scissors from Stamperia, just because mine were great, but to be honest, they've kind of had the day, and they've been repaired a few times, but they don't actually meet in the middle. So I've treated myself to some new scissors. So we're going to cut the corners, and you get to the corner and then put a kink in it and cut it across. So to the corner and cut it across, and again. Okay. And the good thing about these scissors, they have I'll put them in the right way around, a cover, because I have a habit of leaving my scissors in my craft bag and putting my hands in and getting the blade going into my fingers when I go into my craft bag. So that's a really good top tip. Hi Jen. Leaving for the airport in 2 hours. Oh yeah. I hope you're looking forward to your trip. Are you popping in to see us for the INSD weekend as well? Oh, that's fantastic. So fold your pockets over. Okay, so they will then, trying to find a piece of black card. So your pocket will go on either of your 2 front flaps. So again, glue. And again, you need quite a good amount of glue, but not so much that it oozes out everywhere. So, okay, and just butt that up, and it should butt up straight to your bottom. And up to your first fold. So that's one done. And then we'll do the next one. Glue on. Pop that on, move it, make sure it's in line. And burnish that down. Okay, so page 1. It's not very helpful with it being all white, but you've got your front page, you've got your 2 doors that open up like that, and each door's got a pocket on each side like that. Be easier if I show you. So you've got your pockets there. Okay, so turn off my stake. Now on the inside we've got a stacked pocket. So on this one, just pop that out of the way, we need to cut one. Back to the big trimmer. At 9 by 4 inches. So that's 9. There we go. By 4. And then we want to score 2 at 9 by 2 inches. So it's already 9. Cut that at 2. And the next one at 2. Just trim it at the end. So ooh, too many questions in one go, Nikki. I'm fire. Yes, Nikki, these scissors are fantastic. I really and they cut through so easily. And maybe simple things make me happy, but the fact that I know that as long as I remember to put them in the case, I'm not going to stab my fingers with them. Covering papers and things, working on Vintage Library. Oh, wonderful. tacky glue. Score tape wouldn't allow movement. It is quite sticky. Tacky glue, if you put a bit on, it would probably work if you're sliding it underneath and just moving it. Or like I say, just do your two sides. Or what I have seen people do is put the paper underneath, stick the glue down on this side. Get the book. So slide your paper underneath there. Obviously when you're doing this it won't be in the book. Slide your paper underneath and then flip it back, put all your glue down that side and then stick that side. And then once that side's stuck, lift this side up, put all your glue on this side, and then so it won't actually be glued in the middle, but it will be stuck in place on both sides, if that makes sense. And then you can just slide it underneath. And if you've only got a very narrow belly band, I don't think it'd matter. Score tape and tacky glue on top might do. Yes, I would do it that way, and then whatever you find easiest. It might be worth doing a small mock-up page. You don't have to make an actual page, and just see with some, I won't say you, some leftover papers that you've got from another collection, and just see what works best for you, and just try. And then when you know how wonderful it works and what's best, you can maybe let us all know which is best. So, our bottom pocket. So we're scoring at 1/2 inch and at 8.5 inches. Spin it round and score at 1/2 inch again. Then again we're scoring at 1/2 inch, 8.5, and oops, 1/2 inch again. Turn it round. Oops. Score at 1/2 inch. Score at 8.5 inches. Spin it round and score at 1/2 inch. Move your scoreboard out of the way. So mitre your corners on your bottom pocket, then fold and burnish your sides, oops, and then fold the bottom up. Okay, now on these other two you're going to cut up to there and across the side to there and down. So David might agree or not on this. If it was a bit shorter, it looks like a pair of Y fronts. Okay, so on these, you're just folding, you're just scoring down the side. Now, I'm going to pop the bottom pocket on first. Oops. So we're just lining that up at the bottom of the page. I know there's blobs on there, but once I put the paper on, no one will see. That was where I dropped my cup of tea yesterday. So we've now got our pocket in place. So for the next of your stack, I fold and burnish one side, and then I gently fold the other, and I just offer it up, and of course it's going to work perfectly this time. And when you offer it up, it will tell you if sometimes if that other score line is a bit out, maybe a bit too big or a bit too long or short. So if you do it and don't fold it and burnish it, you've got that little bit of wiggle room. So, oops, and pop that in there, and just make sure that's lined up, and burnish that, not that hard. Burnish that down. And the same with the next one. You fold that over, burnish it down on one side, and then just gently with your fingers then offer it up. And now that one's a little bit too wide, so I'm just going to roll it slightly more and burnish it. So it's about, I don't even think it's a millimetre, but just a slightly more, so it goes like that and it fits in and it's straight. So pop your glue on. And then just pop that inside. Oops. Get it straight. And there you go. So you've got your stacked pocket with your doors on the front, with your pockets. So you've got your two pockets on the front. They open up. You've got a stacked pocket here, a stacked pocket here, and one at the top. Now obviously that one you can do bigger photo mats on. So I'm going to leave that there for tonight because I am conscious that there's quite a lot to take in and I need to catch up on chats. Put the scissors away, then you don't get your fingers. Okay, Jen, that the paper is absolutely stunning and it is very Greece. We did a med cruise last year and we did go to Athens and 3 of the Greek islands, and it is very, very Greek papers. We were due to book to go to Santorini for a holiday, and we'd agreed where we were going and we said we'd book it tomorrow. And when we woke up the following morning, they'd had the seismic activity, so we didn't book it, and we are still waiting for it to settle down so we can go. So hopefully this year or next year we'll be able to go, and then I can have my photos to put in the book. I do still have some kits in the shop if anybody wants to buy the papers. So yeah, we'll do that, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. Oh, just while I let you know, if anybody wants any of Cal's papers, I do have the Adventure Awaits ones, which were the greeny travel ones. in the shop, and also the new papers called Sweet Treats that she unfortunately didn't get to launch last year before she sadly passed. So if anybody wants those, they are in the shop, and get them while you can, because can't get them reprinted. So hopefully we'll, you know, if you want any, make sure you get yours in first. So thank you very much. If you've got any questions, just drop me a DM or whatever. But like I say, the papers with all the ephemera and the die cuts are in the shop. Take care, and I'll see you all next week.